Hello and welcome back to the News You Missed Weekly Recap Edition. I recap this week's most pressing and large video game news, articles, announcements, game reviews, trailers, and things like that, so that you can listen to this video in a podcast-styled format, get caught up all on the news, and not be out of the loop. Before we jump into the news, I'd like to remind you very nicely that it would be great if you clicked subscribe so that you could return here every week and never miss out on a new video. You could always click the like button and share this with people. It's absolutely free, a great way to support the channel, and you can leave your comments down below as we go through this series of news stories. There's also Patreon to support me there, win a possible game console or game console bundle, and you can check out my social medias on Twitter and Discord as well if you feel like talking to some people, submitting news stories, or things like that. There are sections for that as well. Now, I just want to jump right into the news, and I want to begin with Nintendo. Wow, man, it seems that Nintendo are going the path of VR, but not just any VR, the weird Nintendo Labo cardboard VR. Yeah, that's the Toy-Con 04 kit. You know, the one where you can put it up to your face and play some strange games here and there. There's not really a strap or anything or a unique VR kit yet. What they're trying to advertise and show is that there's going to be compatible VR modes for Super Mario Odyssey as well as Zelda Breath of the Wild, which means you're going to be able to play these games with some type of specifically programmed VR compatibility mode. I'm not really sure how it's going to change it because, again, you can't really see VR properly when you're looking from a computer screen. You really have to experience it. So if you don't have VR capabilities, you can't see how it'll properly pan out. But they specifically showed that there is a setting in these games that will change something about the games. So even though you could play games in VR, or I suppose it would be like a closer screen to your face, it doesn't necessarily change anything, whereas these two games are going to have the support to actually do something with it. Would you guys be interested in buying Nintendo-based games as long as they are VR? Hey, man, rest in peace, Virtual Boy. Even though some of those games were fun, it wasn't exactly the absolute best experience. We're going to move right along. We have Nintendo is the 9th most reputable major company in the US, according to study. So we have companies like EA being some of the worst, and then you have Nintendo, which, by the way, Netflix is number 1, Hershey is number 2, Whirlpool is number 3, and then at number 10 is the Lego Group. And in between, there are companies that you would kind of expect and maybe be surprised. Nintendo's number 9. Now, I just want to say that I'm going to work towards getting a job working for Nintendo. I'm just going to throw it out there. I find it extremely funny that out of 167,000 individual ratings between January and February of this year, that's what came up. Those 10 companies are the most reputable. I don't know about you guys, but there is a Twitter that exclusively puts out jobs for people who work at Nintendo. There's contract jobs, and then there's full-time positions and part-time that you can apply for just from the Twitter account. So I think that's pretty cool too. Check into it. Nintendo seems like a really cool company to work for, and it's been my life's dream to work for Nintendo, so I'm gonna make an attempt. After I graduate, which I graduate in October, fall of this year, so that'll be awesome. Let's see if Nintendo needs a minister. We're gonna move right along, and hey, the headphone jack and adjustable audio settings are coming to this PDP Pro Switch controller. Nice. I'm not really too excited about it. It's nice that you can plug in headphones to your controller. Again, Nintendo's had an issue with chat functionality in the online games that it has and things like that. You've had to do a convoluted setup with a cell phone and things like that. Okay, just including a 3.5 millimeter jack and the ability to adjust the audio on the controller itself seems like a massive improvement. This is something that really should have happened years ago. I mean, Microsoft had it with the 360 controllers. You'd think maybe Nintendo would have learned, but no. I'm not entirely sure why they do what they do or whatever else. Nintendo is Nintendo, and even though they're a great company to work for, sometimes they do things that I disagree with greatly. Hey, so a Japanese gaming magazine from 1986 mistakenly depicted Link as a woman, and hey, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. This depiction of Link is awesome. It's hot, it's very artistic, looks nice, I would love to have seen Link be a female protagonist. They did have female protagonists at the time. Link would have been a nice one to introduce, and for whatever reason, when they were playing the game and writing articles for the game, they just assumed that Link was a female. Though, there you go. It's third-party depictions. Interesting art, nonetheless, and I'm telling you, I really would have appreciated this. Nowadays, we have Linkle and Hyrule Warriors, which is, again, interesting. The depictions of Link here are shown with a bow, and it does make a lot of sense, but it's funny that Linkle also uses bow and arrows. Yeah, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting how some people can perceive a character from an NES title to be a female. I'm sure many people thought Samus from Metroid was a male until the suit came off. So hey, we have more rumors abound. Retail listings have shown Persona 5 for the Switch and Metroid Prime Trilogy being listed, along with A Link to the Past. We all know that A Link to the Past is coming, but it seems that Best Buy has leaked Persona 5 and the Metroid Prime Trilogy coming to the Nintendo Switch. Makes a lot of sense that both would be coming to the Switch because I don't know if you guys remember, Joker is coming to Smash, as well as Metroid Prime 4's development being rebooted. It would make a lot of sense to port Metroid Prime Trilogy to the Switch for a nice stand-in gap for that series itself, since it's going to be a very long time before we see Metroid Prime 4 coming to the Switch or not, maybe in the next system. Point is, it would be really, really good to have this Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch, because currently we have barely any support for Samus on the Switch. It's a shame that that happens that way, but it does happen, and I would not be surprised if this leak weren't true. Again, Best Buy leaking this, and it's just for SKUs, so obviously they were updating their product line, how they stock things like that. It's not really like full-on art and things that would show you that this is definitely a game coming, more like just numbers and names. So there's that. Mike Tyson thinks there's a new Punch-Out and is not happy. So Mike Tyson tweeted this: "Heard at Nintendo we're doing a new Punch-Out without even contacting me. It won't be the same. My knockouts made the game. That's whack." Okay, can I just take 1 second to point out that this tweet is driving me insane as a college student? Oh my god, there's no caps. The punctuation is completely wrong in most cases. Some of these aren't even full sentence. Mike Tyson, man, look, I know you're a boxer, but please, you might be curious about this. He might have leaked a new Punch-Out, right? Well, not necessarily. See, what I think happened is that Nintendo always tweets out and talks about how there's going to be new games coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. You know, the NES games. Well, April 10th, they were talking about how there's going to be more new games coming out. One of the new games is going to be Punch-Out, but instead of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, it says featuring Mr. Dream. So it makes a lot of sense that Mike Tyson would have seen that and said, who is Mr. Dream, if he didn't keep up to date on the Punch-Out series. No, there's like, I don't know, there's like 5 or 6 Punch-Out variations out there right now. It's more than likely he saw this, which leads into the next story of those new games coming to the Nintendo Switch Online, which feature Super Mario Bros., the Lost Levels, Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream, and Star Soldier. Again, good luck with both the Lost Levels and Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream. Both games incredibly difficult unless you practice them quite a lot. If you've never played them, good luck. Seriously, good luck. They're very difficult games. I've beaten both of them, and I will tell you that they are not games that I like to go back through and play over and over for the fun of it. They are very, very challenging games. Pokemon Go Fest is returning to Chicago. Yeah, this June. Last time, Pokemon Go Fest worked out pretty decently well. They figured out that they needed more cell tower deployment and that people were actually able to do things like raids, special events, there were concerts, things like that. A giant gathering of people who really enjoy Pokemon Go on the phone. Pokemon Go Fest from June 13th through the 16th. Trainers are invited to Chicago's Grant Park. There's going to be lots of challenges, things like that. Tons of just different Pokemon are going to appear. So I think they have it down to a science now. I want to move into Yoshi's Crafted World, a game that recently released, a Yoshi game for the Nintendo Switch. If you guys don't know about Yoshi games, they're pretty much side-scrolling platformers with Yoshi as the main star. Yoshi's Crafted World is a pretty good game. A lot of people seem to like it, giving it good reviews, but it has only gotten 7.8 from IGN. I would give it an 8 to 8.5. I would say that if you are interested in Yoshi games, or if you like platformers, you'll probably really enjoy Yoshi's Crafted World. There's a lot to the game. There's a lot of unique things that you can do, tons of costumes, things like that. And it's a unique way to play a Yoshi game, to be able to change viewpoints, things like that. Again, I can't expound how much fun this game is. I bought it, and I have it, and I play it. So there you go. Accusations of sexual predation shake the Pokemon YouTube community. I covered this in an independent video because it's near and dear to my heart with the Pokemon community, but a lot of people had thought I was implying that Sylveon was involved with King Nappy and that there were problems there. They weren't. I never said anything of the sort. I used pictures, images, videos, and the streams that these people have done, and a lot of people took it wrong, kind of tried to correct me on this. No. Look, there are like 4 to 5 people in the recent week to 2 weeks that have been exposed as either pedophiles, borderline pedophiles, or at the very minimum, grooming children. The King Nappy being the biggest one, which is the one I wanted to focus on. But there are other people involved. I'm telling you, there's tons of people involved in this. And if you'd like to take a look at the story in the description below, where I link all of these stories, I would strongly suggest it, because if you're watching someone and they haven't been taken down yet, I have no idea how they're still doing YouTube or Twitter. A lot of these people have lost those things because of their actions and their exposure. But if you are indeed watching some of their older videos, or you watch them and you enjoy them, you might want to take a look at what they've been doing behind the scenes. These people don't seem to be lying. They don't have a lot to gain from lying. I've said it before, if the King Nappy was innocent, he would have gotten an attorney and not done a live stream to try and prove his side of things. All of these people would not have tried to prove their side of things. Instead, they would have gotten an attorney and sued, because if you lose something like that and you're labeled as some type of pedophile or sexual monster, that stigma will never leave your name, even if you're proven innocent. So, lawsuits are likely going to be ruled in your favor if there is no evidence to support these claims. So, once again, please check into the article. Please make sure who's involved with who, and find out for yourself. I'm not going to make the accusation against anyone. The way these people talk, the way they speak, their mannerisms match up with someone who has been, at the very least, groomed somewhat, or attempted to be lured into a relationship with an older person, which is disgusting, period. So I'm going to move on to something a little bit more cheery. Gabe Newell's likeness is still selling underwear in China. I don't understand how this became a thing, but there is an underwear company, and they have Gabe Newell's face on their box, and you can buy underwear with Gabe Newell's face on it. So there you go. Not entirely sure if Gabe Newell knows, not entirely sure if they care, but this is a thing. So if you want his underwear, make sure you order it from China. Borderlands 3 is coming September 13th, but there's a few problems. I want to go ahead first say that the box itself is, I'm not easily offended as a religious individual, but the box is clearly parodying a depiction of Jesus Christ, and yeah, you can get a deluxe edition that's going to cost $250. That's a lot of money. $250 for the full experience. That's nice, but that's not why everyone's upset. Everyone's upset because of the Epic Store exclusivity. Yeah, Epic Store exclusivity. I don't even have to read the article, do I? It's getting a review bomb because of that. There's going to be a period of which where it's exclusive to the Epic Store. I won't buy it. I just won't. I'm not loyal to Steam by any means, but I just don't use the Epic Store. I come from a generation where there was no store headers. There were no clients to handle your games. You just installed the game and you created a shortcut, or you typed in the command to start the game, and you played your game. That's how it went. It was pretty simple. It was an easy life. There was very little DRM to deal with at the time. And now, there's a lot of people who are very upset with this. Not only that, it's going to be very expensive at the start. At least the very basic minimum edition you buy is going to be around $60, of course. But then the $250 for the full version is ridiculous. There's a lot of problems that are going on with it, so you might want to pay attention to the news if you're a big Borderlands fan. The Sega Genesis has also seen fit to release an HD Mini. Now that's nice, following in the footsteps of the NES Classic, SNES Classic, and PlayStation Classic. The games that they have listed right now are some big hitters, and they've only shown a few of them as of now. So apparently there's going to be around 40 games, once again, quote-unquote legendary games. It's ready plug and play, and the biggest thing is that it's going to be HD, so you're going to have the access to an HDMI cable. Now there are other Sega Genesis third-party systems that have like HD graphics and access to HDMI cables while being able to use a cartridge and plug and play. These are again third party and not from official Sega itself, so this is an interesting system. It's going to include 2 classic 3-button control pads, which is nice. Again, USB adapters, things like that. And the games included, some of them listed here: Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Space Harrier 2, Shining Force, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Don't know why that's in there. I'm just going to move on. Joe, Toe Jam and Earl, Comic Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog, Alter Beast, and Gunstar Heroes. And of course, there's 40 games, so that's only 10, so we have 30 more. But I can almost guarantee you Sonic Hedgehog 2, Sonic Knuckles, Sonic Hedgehog 3, going to be some games on it. Hopefully they will have the license for Road Rash, because if you don't include Road Rash on a Sega Genesis, I don't know what you're doing. Desert Storm, Desert Shield, probably going to include Phantasy Star, Rise Star, some other very well-known Genesis games. That's going to be September 19th, 2019, and it's going to be modeled after the Model 1 Genesis, so I cannot wait to buy one of those. I'll definitely be picking it up. Ladies and gentlemen, are you excited for that? Take a trip to the past if you've never had a Sega Genesis as a kid, or you just missed out on the 16-bit wars. Promise you, the Sega Genesis was quite a capable system. It's fun to play, a great system, and I absolutely loved it as a kid. So, all Driveclub content will be delisted from PSN in August. Ooh, that hurts. Wow. So a lot of people, a lot of digital content defenders will sit here and say, oh, it's okay because you can re-download the game. Yeah, okay, sure. Basically, you won't be able to play the game that much anymore online. You won't be able to do much else, DLC, all of the stuff that comes with the game, the standard game itself, everything. It's all going to be removed from sale. If you already own it, of course you can keep them, but no one new will be able to buy them. It's a very odd choice, so it's probably a licensing agreement that has run out. Sony just seems not interested in keeping the multiplayer service open, not wanting to deal with PSN refunds for purchasers for the online content, multiplayer, stuff like that. So there you have it. If you're interested in racing games, this is kind of crappy, especially if you were interested in this one. I've video gamed so hard that I broke my Xbox Elite controller. There's a whole story about how this person plays games so much that they broke their controller, and it just happened to be an Xbox One Elite. Not sure where they're going with the story, other than the simple fact that even though controllers are manufactured and they run through rigorous stages, platforms, things like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to last forever. I have run through many Xbox 360 controllers, many GameCube controllers, and many Xbox One controllers. This is due in part to the fact that many first-person shooters and games in general will require you to consistently be using the left thumbstick and the right thumbstick as well. But because the left thumbstick controls direction, that means you can't necessarily move without using it. So what ends up happening is I consistently get ghosting. Now, the other things that are consistently killed on my controllers are the bumpers, the triggers. So because first-person shooters, again, consistently use the bumpers and the triggers a lot, it requires constant pressing of them. And controllers only last so long. I'm not saying they die after a year, but it sucks when they do die. Some of your favorite controllers can take a very, very long time to go down, and they'll go down swinging, but that does mean you have to buy another one, especially if you're still using the system. Microsoft does offer year warranties for their controllers, so if yours does go out and you have it registered in some way, shape, or form on their website, you can just go ahead and do a return. It might take you a week or two to get a new controller back or yours repaired back, but it's better than having to pay $60 and buy a brand spanking new one, or at least $30 off of eBay. Anyways, if you game so hard that your controller broke, you let me know in the comments down below. Young men aren't having sex because they'd rather play video games. There's so many angles I could approach this story from, but seriously. Okay, so 1 in 4 adults haven't had sex in the past year, statistics show. In a general social survey, 23% of over 18 say they lack intimacy in their life. And according to Fox News, a large proportion of these people are 20-something men. While it's easier than ever to find a hookup online or dating app, abstinence appears to be at an all-time high. I'm not sure where they're getting video games in this, but I'm sure they're going to tell us. Anyways, a lot of the assumption here is that they just don't want to have sex because there's innovations in technology and that they'd rather want to play video games, streaming video, social media, console games, everything else. That doesn't seem to be the factor that limits the intimacy. If I may, from my own viewpoint and angle, there's a lot of nasty women out there. There's a lot of nasty men, but I'm not gay, so I'm not interested in men. That's why I'm only speaking from my own personal viewpoint. Long story short, I have had women come on to me and I have rejected their advances because not only do I not know what STDs they could have things that would literally kill me, like HIV, and they could have things that I would keep forever, like herpes. A condom does not protect 100% against STDs. You would hope that it would, but if a herpes is not on the section that a condom covers and it touches you, congratulations, there's a good chance you're going to get herpes. So that sucks real bad, doesn't it? Now, it's not only that. I also don't want to have a kid with somebody that I'm not in a long-term engaged relationship with. Just the simple fact that a lot of these women don't appeal to me. A lot of them don't have a good job. A lot of them don't look good. Look at me, just seriously. I'm no prize myself, so I don't think any woman would really want to be with me. It's more like they're probably trying to use me, probably trying to get something out of me. A one-night stand, a hookup, this, that, and the other. And I know a lot of young men feel the same way. A lot of women have high standards. I don't meet those standards, so that's fine. I didn't want to hook up with you anyways, so looks like we're all in agreement here. And I can 100% understand that. So it's not video games that are deterring young men. Video games are just there as a social outlet, a way to pass time. Just like TV is, just like movies are, just like anything else is. Before video games existed, people watched TV to pass time. So would TV have stopped people from hooking up and having sex? I'm not sure. You go ahead and figure that out. This is the Daily Star. You can believe what you want, but there you go. This leads into Prince Harry thinking Fortnite should be banned. Let me go ahead and just say the quote. The game shouldn't be allowed. Where is the benefit from having it in your household? It's created to addict. An addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. Parents have got their hands up. They don't know what to do about it. It's like waiting for the damage to be done. Yeah. Just because you're royalty doesn't mean you know anything. Prince Harry, I'm going to go ahead and let you know, you're 100% wrong. No, Fortnite shouldn't be banned. In capitalistic societies, Fortnite just happens to be the one that gets played the most because it is free to play. There's plenty of other free-to-play games that a lot of people do play, like Apex Legends, League of Legends, and many other MOBA games. If it's free to play, you're going to get a lot of people playing it because they don't have to spend money. That's just how it works, man. So Fortnite just happens to be the flavor of the month. I'm sure years ago, if you were to talk about the same subject, you would have said Call of Duty, or even further back, Halo, or maybe Doom, or maybe Super Mario. Just gotta go ahead and throw it out there, man. Parents need to do their job. It's not Fortnite's fault that parents aren't doing their job. Again, using TV as an example, if your kid is spending too much time on TV, what do? You take away the TV. If your child's spending way too much time on Fortnite, what do? You take away Fortnite. How do you do that? You literally remove the power. But if a kid is getting straight A's and they're doing their schoolwork and they're not out there slamming drugs, they're not having sex with young girls and getting them pregnant and destroying their lives, who cares how much time they spend on a video game? Especially Fortnite. I know you guys don't like Fortnite that much, but seriously, you have to defend it when these things come up. Yeah, let's just ban Fortnite in the country because it's an addictive thing. Yeah, okay, well then let's ban cigarettes, gambling, and alcohol because those can all be addictions too. To round out the news and finish up, we do have explosive bows and arrows and Fortnite's next crazy weapons coming to Fortnite. So, the version 8.20 patch will allow you to wield the boom bow. Very similar to the explosive arrows in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the boom bow allows you to use a bow and arrow, which is cool. Destiny 2 introduced bows and arrows to it, and I absolutely love bows and arrows in Destiny 2, so I've got to agree that this is pretty cool. There's also going to be the Cannonade launcher. Sorry, it's very difficult for me to say that. Where you're going to be able to use a weapon in the Save the World mode. It's a rapid-fire automatic launcher that shoots small, explosive rounds, very similar to a grenade launcher. So, yeah, there you go. Once again, this has been the News You Missed Recap edition for the week. I would greatly appreciate it if you haven't clicked subscribe. Make sure to click that to return here next week for the nice rounded off news segments of all the news that you might have missed. And get you caught up on the news, you can click the like and share button. Give me some nice support for absolutely free. And there's other avenues to support me, as I said in the beginning. But I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. Now I've got to edit this up and get it out to you so that you can listen to it. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thanks for taking time out to watch this video.